everybody, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, Chatting with Chops. It's been a minute, but today we are going to do the CopyCat version of the Ooeyy Gooey caramel pie that they have at O'Charley's. So let's get started. So the first thing we want to do is make our graham cracker crust for our Ooeyy Gooey caramel pie. And in order to do that, we need 1.5 cups of graham crackers broken up. So what I'm going to do is take just one sleeve so far. And these are just regular store brand original graham crackers. They have different flavors, and depending on what you want your pie to taste like, you could try the different flavors. But since I haven't made this pie before, I'm just going to do the regular original graham crackers. I'm just taking them all and just putting them in a big gallon-sized bag. I'll seal that up. And this is where you get to kind of take out some of your frustrations of the workday or something. Just kind of lay those out, and then I'm just going to gently take like a little meat cleaver, and I've got it on the smooth side so I don't break my bag, but I'm just going to kind of softly break them up. Now I can tell you, if you don't have one of these, or you don't have like a glass, you can use a glass bowl, or pretty much anything. You can do these with your hands too, so it gives you a great hand workout. Just make sure your bag's good and sealed. You don't want anything pouring out. And if you also can put this in a food processor and let the food processor break it up. I have one of those, and I could show you how to use those, but I usually try to make my videos with as little equipment as possible. I mean, now granted, I love having my mixer, but I want to make sure that anybody can make this recipe. You don't have to have a food processor in order to make a graham cracker crust. It makes it go a lot quicker, but you don't have to have one. Okay, so I'm just checking through to make sure I don't have any huge pieces. I mean, again, this is a homemade pie, so it doesn't have to be perfect. All right. So now what I'm going to do, like I said earlier, you need about 1.5 cups of the crumbs. So I'm going to pour this into my measuring cup, and see if we have enough. A little bit more. Might have it dead on the nose. Yep, look at there. We got exactly 1.5 cups. So for future reference, a full sleeve is about 1.5 cups of crumbs once you break them down. So that's a great measuring tool for in the future. Now we're going to take just a regular mixing bowl and put our 1.5 cups of crumbled graham crackers. Put that in there. And then we're going to take 1/4 cup of melted butter. And for my vegans out there, you can make graham cracker crust vegan, because graham crackers are vegan. If you're careful not to make sure you don't get any of the chocolate flavored ones or anything, but they are vegan, so you could use vegan butter in this recipe. The last ingredient we need is 1/4 cup of regular sugar. And we're just gonna mix that in real good. Okay. All right, so this is the part I told you about. Sometimes with recipes, that you get offline or something that you haven't made before, sometimes you need to have a little bit of adjustment. If you see here, my recipe asked for 1.5 cups of graham cracker crumbs, have 1/4 cup of sugar, and it wanted 1/4 cup of melted butter. Now, I don't know if you can see very well in the video, but I can tell you this is really dry. So there's no way I'm really going to be able to get this to kind of adhere to my pie plate and, you know, make a nice mold. It's just going to want to sit in the middle because it's dry. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and melted another 1/4 cup, and we're just going to slowly start to add more butter until we get this to the kind of consistency that we're looking for. Okay? So we're going to put, all right. So that's getting there. I think we're going to have to take a whole cup of butter for this. That's just really too dry to do what I need it to do. So I'm going to add the rest of my butter. So that would end up being, just for recipe's sake, that's a whole cup of butter I have added. And that's okay. I'll make sure I adjust it in the description box. Okay, yeah, see, that's nice and wet. That's going to adhere to my pie plate very well. Okay. All right, so the next thing we want to do is put this in our pie plate. Okay, so now we're just going to, quite honestly, we're just going to drop all of this into this pie plate, and we're going to just slowly start molding it to be in our pie crust. Oh, it smells so good. I don't know how just graham crackers and butter can smell so good, but it sure does. But again, just trying to show you that a lot of times with baking, you don't need a whole bunch of fancy equipment. You don't need a lot of fancy supplies. You know, you can just use a regular old, I mean, if you have one good pie plate, I would say if you're gonna buy one pie plate, I would buy a deep dish. All right, so what I'm gonna do, just because this has got some warm butter in it, I'm gonna stick this in the fridge for about 30 minutes and just everything kind of solidify and let that butter cool down, because this is gonna be a chilled pie and I don't want that hot butter to affect my filling. I'm telling y'all, you're not gonna believe how super easy this pie really is. All right, so we let our graham cracker crust cool in the fridge for about 30 minutes, and then I basically have 3 cans of Nestle's La Leche, which is authentic dulce de leche. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, I'm so sorry. And that's just basically milk-based caramel. So we're just gonna put all 3 of these cans in our pie crust and smooth it out. You know, I always say I should have named my channel The Messy Cook, so y'all be ready to see how much of this I end up wearing. My countertops and me and everything else will probably end up with a lot of this beautiful sticky caramel on me. Never made this before, so there's my disclaimer. If it doesn't look gorgeous like the pieces that you get from O'Charley's, keep in mind this is I'm gonna smooth these out a little bit and see what happens. These are room temperature, by the way, just so that you know. Okay, yeah, that's looking really good so far. I think I'm going to try and do smaller dollops around the top where I think it needs a little bit more. A little bit in the can and, whoop, see, I've already got some on me. I'm trying to make sure that I don't get too much of the crust on the top. I want the crust to stay on the bottom, not be mixed into my beautiful smooth top. Oh, doesn't that look great? That is just gorgeous. The last thing we're gonna do is put some whipped topping on here. And my husband has chosen extra creamy, so I'm gonna see if I can do some pretty little dollops around the edge. Again, pretty decorations are not usually my thing, but like they always say, practice makes perfect. So the more I try, maybe the nicer my little dollops will get. Now you can, if you wanted to, you could spread this whipped topping on the top of it, just like another, basically like another layer, if you wanted to. I'm just, again, trying to, assimilate the way it looks when you get it at O'Charley's. And the picture shows these nice, pretty little dollops of whipped cream on the top of each slice. So I'm just trying to kind of do that. And then we're going to do a nice, pretty one in the middle. All right, there we go. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is let this sit and chill in the fridge for about 3 hours, and then we'll get it out and try it and see how it tastes. But there you go. There's your CopyCat version of an Ooeyy Gooey caramel pie from O'Charley's. I made this CopyCat O'Charley's Ooeyy Gooey caramel pie for hubby. So he's in the midst of cutting it now to get it out. Which, the first piece of pie never comes out very pretty. At least mine don't. You'll have to excuse me if whatever y'all are seeing in the background. My kitchen is not always as tidy as I'd like it to be. Oh, that's a thick pie right there. My kitchen is all messy.
It's very sticky.
Very sticky? Okay. Well, it's caramel. It's supposed to be sticky.
Well, yep. That's good.
Oh, awesome. All right. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And don't forget to put down in the description box anything that you might like to see me make in the future. And I will catch y'all on the next bake.